I got this welder, let's test it out.
All right, so here's the welder right here, BestARC. So let's take a look at the front of it. Right here, this is a MIG145. All right, so here's the MIG torch right here. Pretty nice trigger on it. Here's the tip right here. So this will do flux core and gas, 75-25. All right, so to put the wire in here, it's got these little clips on the side. We can pop them open like that, pop the lid open, slide it back. Look at that, opens right up. And there's where we put the wire right there. All right, let's turn it on. All right, there we go. It's got this little wire feed button here. We can press it. Spool that wire up so we don't have to pull on the trigger. All right, there we go. Right out the tip.
All right, let's try some flux core.
All right, so we're on 110 volts, machine set to 90 amps. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, there we go. There's that bead right there. Not bad for flux core. Probably could have gone a little slower, but it's looking pretty good. Welding pretty good. All right, so here's the results right here. We got the first weld here, second weld, and then the third weld. So it's looking pretty good, you know, for flux core. There's a little bit of BBs on there, but you know, it's getting the job done. It's got plenty of power. There it is right there, 90 amps flux core. And we got 94.2 amps. All right, so we're at 110 volts. Machine set to the max at 110. We got 125 amps. I got this trailer frame right here and this whole piece of scrap here. They're about 3/16 1/4 inch thick. Let's weld them together. All right, so there's the bead, 125 amps, 110 volts. Man, that is looking real good. That is a nice weld on there, nice and healthy. We could have put a little bit more heat on it, get a little bit more penetration, but I'd do the job right there. That's not gonna break or go anywhere. 125 amps flux core, and we got 116.1 amps. All right, so here's a look at the settings right here. We have the amperage, you know, we can select gas, gasless, MIG, TIG. We can do stick, synergic, non-synergic. We can select the wire size and diameter. So on 120, right here, it goes from 50 all the way up to 125 amps. And then, you know, we can get anywhere in between. Or if we want to manually dial it in, we press it down. And then we're off synergic, and we can set it manually. We want to go back to synergic, press it down, and it'll adjust it for us.
So I'm gonna be testing most of this on 220. That's what I use. I got it available. I use it, you know, 110 is nice when you're out in the field or somewhere like home garage or something like that, but I got 220 here, so we can put it to the max. See what it can do.
So if we look down here, it's got a 220 plug on it right here. All right, so 220, it goes from 50 amps up to 145 amps. All right, we got some of this 3/4 inch right here. Let's see how it does. This is flux core MIG. All right, there we go. It put the heat to that big time. It didn't have any problem welding that. Probably should have gone a little slower, but it had plenty of heat to weld that thick steel. All right, we got 122 amps.
All right, so it's doing real well. Flux Core, we need to hook the MIG wire up, hook the gas bottles up, and test some MIG.
So we got a quick reference chart here under the hood. It'll tell us the settings we need to set everything to, our gas flow rates and stuff like that, depending on what process we're using. On the back of it right here, we got an on and off switch, a fan, and then we got gas in where you can put our MIG gas. Then we got the hose right here so we can hook up our MIG bottle. All right, so I got my argon tank set up right here. So if we come down here, we need to get this thing changed out. So we need to get this flux core wire off of here. And then we need to get the MIG wire put on here. We need to change out the tip to 0.030. And then the roller, we need to flip it for that smaller diameter wire. I like this wire feed button, just hit it, it comes right out. Slick. Come on out. There it is. So then we also have this cable on the front of it right here for different polarities, depending on what process we're using. All right, we're on gas, MIG, 90 amps. See what kind of bead we can lay down. All right, there we go. There's the bead right there. That is looking real good. Nice and clean, nice healthy weld bead. Machine's at 90 amps, and we got 98.8 amps. All right, gas MIG, we're at 145 amps. Let's come up here, weld the other side of this thick 3/4 inch steel. All right, there we go. That is gas MIG 7525, and that weld is looking nice. So it had plenty of power to weld that thick steel easy. You know, we need to bevel it if we're really welding it. But for a test, it's looking good. 145 amps, come down here. 124.8 amps. Of course, we had to switch the polarity because now we're doing gas. So, you know, we had to switch where this lead was. So our ground's over here and the positive is right here. So we got positive and negative. That's DCEP. Flux core is DCEN. So this electrode positive, flux core is electrode negative. All right, there's another weld for you. Looking real good. All right, we got some 1/8 inch 11 gauge here. Let's see how we do. All right, so it's laying down a nice healthy bead.
All right, so the MIG process is the best process I've tested on this machine so far. You know, we got the best welds out of it. They're looking real good, nice and clean. Let's test the stick.
All right, we got that plate right here. Let's do some 70/18, see how it stick welds. All right, so it's stick welding pretty good. It's got plenty of power. It's pretty easy to start an arc with it. All right, the machine's at 125 amps. Come down here, and we got 142.1 amps. There we go right there, and that is an awesome looking stick weld. 220 stick, it goes from 20 amps all the way up to 125 amps.
So the stick welds are looking real good. You know, this machine seems to be able to start an arc easier stick welding than other machines I've tested. Let's try some TIG.
All right, check it out. So I got my argon regulator right here set up. Got my argon tank right here. Big boy. So we got the hose coming down from the regulator. It goes into this TIG torch here, DCEN. Yeah, see, this is the negatives going to the torch. So it's an external torch. I already had it in order to get the flow rate right. So it's got this knob on the back of it right here. I got this little flow meter. It's got a little ball in there so that I can get it set up right, just like that, so we can get the gas flow right. So I'm not the best TIG welder. I'm gonna try to lay some beads down on this 1/8 inch. All right, so here's some TIG welds I managed to get out of the machine. These bottom ones are looking pretty good down here, you know, on the finish. I kind of got sloppy. Up here, these two, these three up here, these are looking good. A little hot over here. Overall, you know, the thing TIG welds good. Doesn't have high frequency, so you got to get in there and scratch it to get it to arc, but it's doing a good job. TIG, 120 amps on the machine, 95.8 amps on the meter. 220 TIG, it goes from 10 amps all the way up to 145 amps.
So the TIG did a good job on this machine. You know, this isn't high frequency start, scratch start. We had to scratch the steel so we could get the TIG arc started, but it did a good job. So you have to have an external TIG torch on this. You can't just plug it in the machine, and there's no foot pedal.
We got the box of accessories right here. Let's get it opened up. All right, let's see what we got in here. Looks like we got some welding wire up here, grounding lead. We got a 220 to 110 adapter. We have a stinger lead right here so we can do some stick welding, some Teflon tape, some more tips, a different roller, probably for different size wire. And then we have a carrying handle strap right here.
All right, so I like this welder. The MIG did best for me. You know, that's obviously what the machine was designed for. You know, MIG145, it's in the name. So it did great on the other processes too, but MIG was the best for me. We got the best welds with MIG. So, you know, pretty standard stuff, comes with everything you need. It's got the MIG torch, it's attached to the machine, comes with some rollers, comes with that grounding clamp, was pretty good. The stinger lead was pretty good too. So the welder's nice. The number one thing I like about it is it's nice and compact. I mean, you can see how big it is compared to my hand. You know, I mean, the thing is tiny, nice and compact. So 220 obviously had the best power and got the best welds out of 220. Did 110 too, didn't trip the breaker, didn't have any problems with that. So I'm gonna be using this thing a lot, you know, just pick it up, grab it and go. I'll check you out on the next tool review. Later.